Isn't it nice when things are as good as gold? You know.
You got square on you, nigga? I ain't got no, store. Shit, bro, I keep this nigga. I only walk around telling all these niggas. This nigga's a bitch. What the fuck?
Doctor, pressure's dropping.
He needs surgery. We need a line.
Brady.
We need bullets and fluid.
He's crashing.
Charge the defibrillator.
Doctor, we're losing him.
Clear.
In a world where you've constantly been told what you can't do, who will you choose to be when presented with something different?
They hit me with these damn motherfucking commercials, these ads and shit. That's some bullshit. Shout out to everybody in the chat, y'all. Much love, much love.
Check it out. Pizza Hut's hooking you up with
I don't have to touch nothing. I'm good. All right.
It's your boy DJ Southern.
It's gonna be a good one. I got my Mr. Rogers. You know, like man, this vision, because this is about a vision. It came to me like 2 years ago, and I kept it silent. I met with some, partners, like Paul Rosenberg, from, Eminem's manager. And I was like, man, I love everything. Like, you guys forum, like, all of the Trey Rap News, the Trey Rap Daily, All Access Hip Hop. I mean, I like everything, and I just wanted to be a contribution to, to this scene, because, I've always, in my decades career, I've always had brought in artists like Biggie, Outkast, and it put food on my family table, so I can't disagree. And that leverage helped me with like artists I was working with from like D12, Proof, even to a certain degree, Eminem before he blew up. I used a lot of my resources to help the talent here in Detroit. Now I say that like that was like maybe like 20 years ago, but now, man, it's like you gotta say Michigan. You just can't. Detroit rap hip hop is kind of an irrelevant word now. You just gotta do. It's Michigan rap, Michigan hip hop,
Michigan in general.
And it's not just Detroit,
I agree.
Flint either, because you think.
Yeah, I mean, because when you got Flint in the building, you got
Saginaw, Muskegon. You got all over the place, even the suburbs of Detroit. There's rappers.
Yeah, E-Course in Highland Park,
Yeah, what's that girl? I know I'm gonna probably butcher her name, but Queen Nema. She's from like Lincoln Park, right?
Right.
Believe so.
And then
I think she's from like Lincoln Park or maybe Monroe. But man, it's crazy how the game is now.
Yeah, and there's that one rapper, Claire. We just had Pistol Atkins on him, a hell of a.
Pistol Atkins. Yeah, Claire, who's been popping and bubbling around. Yeah.
Now you know what, Pistol Atkins. We just got to give him props. And I mean, I haven't seen when we were in the music scene. Like, man, I probably ain't talked to Pistol in like 20 years, but I love what he's doing. He's like he was a ferocious rapper in this area or in hip hop. I'm not just going to limit. I'm not just going to, compartmentalize him. But then he went from like, I don't want to say putting down the mic, but then he went from, finding new talent, because man, it's all about, bottom line, it's about the hip hop culture. Anything, an alien from Pluto could, it's all about the hip hop culture. And if you were like really part of a culture, you contribute to it. Right. No matter what, you may buy that CD or it's just, and I love how he went from as an artist, now he's like managing and he's like guiding. I wish really, to keep it real, and this is just me talking, I wish a lot of like older artists, and it has nothing to do because now it's articles out now where rappers in their 50s are selling more than 20-year-olds. Right. So it's not that, but you can use your creative to help build, other younger artists. So I love that, man. I just wanted to give, Pistol Atkins his props, man, because I remember him I know him from the music scene, like we was going to the clubs, the bars, different events. different kind, but I just wanted to give him major props on that.
Yeah. I don't know why when he mentioned he used to be at the strip club scenes, he met Allen Iverson there. He told a story about Allen Iverson. I thought
he met Allen, yeah. I bet he did.
Yeah, because
man, you know what? We are a cultural city of having fucking fun. I mean, man, back in the golden era of just the rap scene here back in like the 90s, man, my crew, we would do our work because, we had to do the promotions for different, major projects. But man, we had this thing and it was kind of like we took it off of that Nike commercial, the Fun Police. And man, we would handle business, but we also fun police. And it was like, man, we had boatloads, yachts of funds, so hey man, that's the props for any, it's like Detroit is no other city in the world that can tell fun hip hop stories than Detroit. I'm dead serious, man, and I got a network of guys that that did what I did across the world, man, but nobody light up a room like when a Detroit story,
Yeah. Shit, to follow up on that, I know the last time you were out here, you was talking about how Biggie and Lil C's not being able to get in the club because he was underage and all that. And you was like, these are my artists and shit. I brought.
Oh yeah, underage. Oh man, that was. Hey, as long as you could get in the club and the bouncers was the dictator. They were the gatekeepers back then. The bouncers at all these clubs, they would look at you and, hey man, you slide them some music or slide them a shirt or just like, they start really fucking with you, so it's like, that's how that game was, man. That was fun, man. And honestly, that was part of having fun, to be like, okay, because, I started interning at 18 and it was so fun. Like, oh man, am I gonna get in the club or not? It was like that was fun getting in the club, and
the challenge.
Yeah, so hey, man.
Yeah. Like it'll remind me of like the scene from Crush Groove, you know what I mean? We can relate to that when the Fat Boys sneak in, they got the fake IDs, the guy goes, oh, and it's supposed to be you? And they're all skinny dudes, but it's the Fat Boys, they go, all right, I'm gonna let you guys do your thing. And he's like, yeah. But if you guys mess up in here, you guys out. He's like, yeah.
That was the golden time, man. Man, it was like, because it just was so much fun. And I wish that the modern rappers nowadays, they can't have an experience like back in the day. And and I'm not being like an old schooler, but man, I go to some, like, people come to me and be like, Mark, give me some advice on how to break into music. And they have a full album, and I just kick it. I just take the meeting and I say this. I say, man, okay, you got your music, and I know you this shit. I'm using it like you very confident. You're an artist. I know you this shit, right? So I say, what is 5 things you're gonna do in Michigan to help break your record? And it's like, I was like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna is it a club you're gonna go to? Is it a weekly night, or is it a mainstay club? I mean, are you gonna go down to Club Dream? You gotta hook up with the DJ. I mean, we don't. It's none of these artists nowadays can't really name 5 things. That it's almost like a riddle, and they think I'm being an asshole, but it's it's the real shit. It's like, okay, what you gonna do? They say you ain't gonna. And hey, I love my brothers, but JLB and the radio, this is in my analysis, it's dead. Because it was cool. It could be a balance, like it could be like a sense of, you had radio and you had YouTube, but now, man, our game now has been cannibalized, or radio has been cannibalized, because what is somebody gonna, like, if I'm a 17-year-old kid and I want to, I went back then and I wanted to hear Spice One, why would I wait on the radio playing it, like hoping they play it, when I could just go on YouTube and play it, or I could go on Spotify. So that's the cannibalization.
Cutting out the middleman. Yeah,
It's the cannibalization. It ate up. It's like, why do we need radio? And you know, I'm a businessman, and I know like you can like stack numbers and you can juice numbers, and I think that's what radio. You know, and I know probably after this interview, probably not gonna. I'm probably gonna they're gonna lock the door. I'm gonna be banned from radio offices, but I'm telling the truth, man. It's like so when people be like, "Oh, man, don't even." Okay, you're not gonna do radio. How are you gonna do? Are you gonna just? And I do this myself. I mean, somebody say, "Hey, Mark, post my record on your page." But I was telling them, I was like, "That's not part of the 5. That's just like a favor. That's not part of the 5. You got to think of some creative or something different to break records down,
Yeah, like a way to sell without the radio and shit like that. Like honestly, okay, I'll use for example like Esham. We know the legend right there, the Godfather right there. Still made it over here to Tucson, Arizona, and didn't need to have the radio hit because we didn't hear it on the radio. I mean, it played on Detroit radio. We still got Esham over here though. So Esham found that, I would say.
I'll tell you, man. Oh, perfect example. Esham got on because he tapped the market. He would do, man, for one, they had a proper budget. So they had, man, it was times where like I would be having like a 2,000 Outkast singles on me, or like, artists or one of my main acts, because when my promo company was huge and I had like 10 top labels that I had as clients. So Esham would be banging out with me, like I would have 2,000 Outkast cassettes and he had 2,000 Esham cassettes. So he was banging out. And another thing, what him and his brother James did, they traveled and they put the message across. And like, he just, and for one, he really went ham at retail record stores because record stores was really like his. And so that's why, in Arizona, he had a distribution network. And so, so he, like, if I asked him that before he put out one song, he had it. He was always in the streets. And him and his brother, they had a pipeline for record stores. They love seeing him come and pause. But they love seeing them because they know they records was gonna sell.
Yeah. No doubt.
I remember he pulled up at Planet Rock back in the days over in Southwest with the Maggot Brain Theory, the cassette tape. And I was young. I was probably like 14, 15. But it was the shit seeing Esham pull up. You know what I'm saying? He was with Mastermind TNT. They pulled up in a all black truck. They just had boxes of tapes and shit. They just had boxes.
Man, they would go ham. It was like, man, it was, and like once again, like I had a boatload of promo stuff because New York and LA was, man, I had like, man, it was times where I got like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 pounds from FedEx of different promo materials. When they dropped it, and so when I would go to some clubs, there would be like local artists there. They would come with like maybe 10 cassettes, 2 vinyls, and some of them guys are my family, but they didn't have like they didn't have the ammunition. But Esham, man, he went tit for tat. He was always like, he was ready, and you could just it was like the fruits of labor, because he was selling a lot of records and black stores, white stores, Hispanic stores, everybody was selling out. So he had enough capital to just keep re-upping on promo and product.
Right.
Yeah. Like to hear that, that's amazing. Also, like from what I heard about Detroit having the popular, like where like you can sell your CD in the gas station and stuff. That's unheard of over here, is what I was gonna say. That Detroit was onto something already from the start. You could sell your album and you'd find it in the gas station. It'd be the local record.
I tell you, speaking of that, Todd, And that's what makes Michigan crazy, because our pipeline of record stores was unbelievable. We never, and it's not even a debate, but per capita, we had the most record stores. I mean, literally, it was like a record store. We got used to seeing, oh man.
Yeah, we had, because remember, it was like 3 or 5 or 6 in the area where me and Rock grew up at.
Yeah, exactly. So
we had what? We had Records for You, Motor City Jams, Puritan Records, right. Your Little Record Store inside Pied Piper,
International Records.
Pied Piper did Trade Winds. It was a record store inside the Trade Winds liquor.
Yeah, yeah, man. It was like, and then if you really wanted to go over, you would have you had like Chantonique's in Highland Park. I know that's a little bit out of your area, but it was everywhere, man.
I did that Chantonique's. I caught the bus. Come on now, I live around the corner from Highland Park. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Maryland and Oakland.
Right. So yeah, man, it was that was great, and that kind of like, that's why Detroit rocks the world. And I know I'm kind of slipping with, well, in this particular one, when you talk about Detroit, because Detroit was like, in terms of the analytics of the record business back then, all of Metro Detroit was Detroit, you know, because so you think about all of that, and you know, like you talk about like Walmart created their record distribution in Troy, Michigan. It was a company called Handelman's, and Handelman's distribute all of the records of Kmart and Walmart all across the world. So we had so much resources here that it was incredible, man. And, you know, we made good music, but we had a lot of behind the scene music industry companies here that gave us a ledge.
Since we talking about distributors, can't forget about Angot on Puritan.
Oh, man, it's so crazy. Angot used to say that Esham, man, they used to be so happy, because I would have to go in there and service Angot with the major records I had, and even my independent clients. And man, Esham would pull up, and James would pull up in like a van with all the music, like a little minivan, and then Esham would be in like a all white clean BMW. You know, it was like that. It was like, man, that was like, they were like so organized and huge with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember the first time I bought my first Esham tape when I was living on Atkinson on Dexter and Jory Road. I was in I think I was in 4th grade in elementary school. Came home from school and seen the tape in the gas station. And I was like, Esham's Boomworks from Hell, 1990. So I snatched it up because it was right next to Detroit Most Wanted.
Damn. Now, my first impression, and sometimes I'm slow, but my first impression, I was at Sam Jams in Ferndale, right?
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember, right there, it's like over there, like 9 Mile and Woodward area.
I know
it's there. This is way before. This is way before the Esham, but I mean before the whole, I was doing promo. I think I was in high school, and he was in that drop top, and he had that Joker face on.
Don't play.
Okay, not yet. I seen the cassette, and I just was like, I thought he was black, but he had that clown. It was almost like, if y'all remember, man, he must have had a makeup artist, because that shit was so like looking like the Joker.
That's what I
and I was like, what in the fuck is this? And man, there you go. You know, and that was mine. Then, you know, I was like, I started, and then, you know, you start hearing the words, and all his tapes, it was like
different colors.
No, but it was empty. It was like, you could tell they had like an area right there, but it was only 2 tapes left in there. And I'm like, what? You could just tell. I was like, I had to get a late pass. That was my first interpret. You know, like my first into the whole Esham world. But then I got very acclimated to it. You know, I was like, okay, I see what this guy's talking about. You know,
this guy must be selling some stuff. Yeah, like his guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when Prince came out. I was working at KFC in Livonia, so I say, fuck it. When I get off work, I'm gonna shoot on the media play and go grab it. Man, tell me why I go to media play, the bitch sold out.
Yeah.
Guess why I end up buying it at though?
Or
I didn't hear you, BK.
Damon. I end up getting it from Damon's.
Oh, Damon.
Yeah, I'm Plymouth the Evergreen.
And you just said media play. I ain't heard of that name in so long. But there was another record. I gotta put that one in my brain because I always be thinking of Sam Goody, Harmony House, Record Town. But you're right, man. Media play was real serious in the game back then.
Right. Damn.
So well, we know you and Proof was real tight. Rest in peace, Big Proof forever. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was playing the album before that. But it's the 20 years since Jerry Garcia dropped.
Original towel right here. They talk about Pittsburgh Steelers, the terrible towel. This is the Searching for Garcia towel, man. This is one of the. I only have a few of them, and I hold this like a keepsake, man. We were doing promo. We we had towels. And I always till this day, man. It's getting. I gotta find another way to get it. You know, I always got the Proof rubber bracelet on, but it's like I rock it very rarely because I had like 20 of them, and man, it's like they whittled down. So I like during the summer, I really don't rock them a lot because with sweat and stuff, and they get damaged. But yeah, man, it's great, man. Proof. We were from the beginning. We were like running buddies, like. We met each other like we were both juniors in high school. He went to a different school, and I went to Highland Park. And shit, by the time I met him, man, Proof was. I don't even think Proof was going to school as a junior, because man, Proof was always. And this is not knocking him, man. He was so intelligent when you would be talking to him, and we were the same age, but man. It was like he was talking to a 30-year-old. He was so advanced in his skull and brains that, man, you would be like, I'd be like, you really don't need school, man. You up here 17 years old, and you sounded like a damn college professor, man.
This is true. Yeah, no, yeah. Like me to him, yeah, I thought he was older than me, and then later on find out, yeah, I was older than him. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, man, it was crazy, man. Yeah, he just had the 20th anniversary album that just came out. I mean, and the one thing that like people and especially the fans can feel really, really happy about is that Deshaun, Proof's eldest son, and his wife Sharonda Holton, they got a lock back on his catalog and his estate, right? So. When you stream on Spotify or on YouTube, know that his children and his wife are like over it, and Deshaun is like one of the leaders.
They're taking care of. They're taking care of.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. Oh man, now you gonna
not going too far. Yeah, but
yeah, well, they've got it back. They've got it in control now. It was so many years.
Well, they got something coming through. That's what I mean. They got something at least coming through.
Yeah, but it was so many years, man. It was like, whoa, it was like this person had it, this person. It was like playing whack-a-mole. You didn't know who had it, who had it. People would claim and say, hey, I got this over here. Because, technically speaking, and Proof, like, for a fact, man, Proof, like, probably got like 300 to 400 songs out on the streets. I mean, I'm talking because Proof always did a song, and that go back to like our first interview where Proof believed in writing a song a day. Now, that's not saying he went in the studio a day, but Proof was Yeah, he was very disciplined, and so he wrote a song a day. So, and if anybody said, "Hey, let's collab, let's go to the studio," he would do it. So, man, it's so many people that have albums hid, and and they're just keeping it, and it's getting like they about to just. Unfortunately, they just about to just die with that shit because most motherfuckers just be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna wait for the right time to put it out." But now,
you might die before that.
Thank the heavens, Deshaun, Proof's son, he, his eldest son, he's overseeing everything. And, Sharonda too. She's my sister, Sharonda Holton, but it's more like, Deshaun is very interactive. He because for a minute, or I should say maybe for like this is sad, but like maybe for 15 years they didn't have control of Proof's music as an independent. I'm not talking about the D12, but I'm just talking about his independent records.
His catalog.
Yeah, his catalog. It was no control over it. And then it's still to this day, people, it is albums up there on Spotify where he has no control over it. Well, not his estate. So it's getting back a little bit. It's back on getting to the baseline.
At least like just
it's getting like
he's